D23 gave us the final trailer for Andor with just under 2 weeks before its premiere. There is a lot of new footage, and it all continues to look fantastic. At this point, there isn't a whole lot more to say based off of the marketing that we don't already know, but I think this trailer more than any other gave us a sense of what the themes of the series will be, and what our two main characters will experience. The whole thing starts off with Cassian's lines from Rogue One about doing terrible things on the behalf of the rebellion. From the announcement of this series, I assumed that would be the kind of thing we would see throughout all 24 episodes. The struggle to fight tyranny without completely losing yourself, being forced to do things for the so-called greater good, and needing them all to matter. And in this trailer, we actually see Cassian in the midst of potentially doing something terrible. He pulls a blaster on someone and shoots them in the head. It's possible that's all misdirection and clever trailer editing, but even so, tonally, I think that's what this series is going for. But we also know that Cassian will start this series as a very different character. He's more out for himself and his own survival, and there's a line I love from Luthen Rael telling him that he will ultimately die fighting the Empire the way he is. From previous clips and trailers, Cassian seems to be a thief, stealing from the Empire for his own gain and not for some greater cause. That path will lead to death, and Luthen isn't coy about the fact that fighting the Empire in any capacity will probably lead to death, but if that's gonna happen regardless, shouldn't your death mean something? Shouldn't he give it all for something real? I already love that connection to Cassian's final moments. On Scarif, he waltzes into the Citadel like he belongs. He steals something from the Empire, but this time it's not for him, it's to provide hope for the entire galaxy. I love that. Something that surprised me a little about this trailer was the depiction of Mon Mothma. I'm so used to seeing her as the leader of the Rebel Alliance, the figurehead, but the new footage of her is showing us what I am interpreting as someone who's more hesitant to go down the path of open war. I'm guessing at this point she is still holding on to hope that she can do some good in the Imperial Senate. I certainly do not think she is complacent or anything like that. She's probably just trying to convince herself that diplomacy can still work. Diego Luna has described this series as the awakening of a revolutionary. Obviously, we're going to see that in Cassian, but we might see it in Mon Mothma as well. We see her pushing back against Luthen Rael, admonishing him for something that he's set in motion because, as a result, people will suffer. He says the time has come to force the Empire's hand, and she asks at what cost. Basically, I don't think she's ready to see people die fighting the Empire, but it's kinda like what Luthen told Cassian. People die under the Empire's rule anyway, so shouldn't their deaths mean something? I like this angle of Mon Mothma, to not look at her as a static character, someone who was always ready and willing to lead the Rebel Alliance, but instead someone who had to come to terms with what that leadership would actually mean. I think it's smart to give Mon Mothma an arc and let her go through some change. We know she eventually comes to understand that open war is necessary, but we also know that she never stops caring about the lives lost under her command, like with the Bothans in Return of the Jedi. In the series, we might see that illustrated with the character Vel Sartha. According to the subtitles, we see her twice in the trailer, once telling Mon Mothma that they've chosen a side and that they're fighting against the dark. We see her later on in the midst of a battle. Maybe she helps Mothma accept the mantle of leadership and then serves and dies under her, or something like that. There are more shots of clone troopers throughout the trailer. I've been wondering if they were Republic clone troopers or Imperial clone troopers for a while. I think this new footage is making me lean more towards Imperial troops, shortly after the end of the Clone Wars before they were phased out in favor of stormtroopers. It's still hard to say for sure, but the fact that there is no customization to their armor makes me think they're Imperial. Also, their commanding officer looks more Imperial to me than Republic. Speaking of, let's talk about the Imperial officers a little more. Dedra Meero gets the most new footage, looking intense. I get the feeling she is taking the uprising on Ferrix more seriously than her superiors, like she knows this could grow into something greater and no one will listen to her. It's like Cassian said in prior trailers, the Empire is so fat and satisfied they can't even imagine someone actually standing up to them. It's a thought that doesn't even cross their minds, and that's how he is able to waltz in like he belongs and steal things, and I think one of the new shots shows us exactly that happening. It's a new look at one of the calf-drinking Imperials from earlier trailers, and he's being confronted by who I think is Cassian and a friend, both in Imperial uniforms. I assume this is part of a heist on the dam-like structure we've seen before. But that's everything new I wanted to talk about from the final trailer for Andor. It's still looking great. I love the production quality and the tone and the themes. Look, I love whimsy and goofiness in Star Wars, and I think we're going to get that in Andor, but it doesn't all have to be that way all the time, and I think Andor will be a welcome addition to the universe. Let me know what you thought of the trailer in the comments, and keep an eye out for our Mandalorian Season 3 teaser breakdown coming soon, as well as the Tales of the Jedi trailer. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for all our Andor coverage, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.